Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your mid-month reading. And this is a reading for Sagittarius Sun and Sagittarius Rising, not for your moon, okay? And the reason is I want to do a quick AstroChat with you with some of the astrological energies and the aspects going on right now. I have my laptop here with your chart to take a look into it, and I'm gonna be pulling a few cards. So just a quick reading, very short, just to take a look at these mid-month energies. Nothing too long. And Mercury just entered Aquarius. By the time that I'm recording this video, Mercury has just made its way into Aquarius and it's now squaring Mars, which is in Taurus. And Mercury is joining Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. So Mars is squaring all the three of them. And I talked more about this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in another video. I'm going to link it up here because in there I talk about how this conjunction is affecting each zodiac, so you can check it out. But Mars, this square going on between Mars, Jupiter and Saturn, it's happening in fixed signs. And fixed signs are known for being hard to deal with because they can be quite stubborn in their ways. They don't want to compromise. They don't want to do things differently. They want things their own way. Taurus wants to do things its own way because they are very slow to move. Mars came from Aries, in which it had that spark of creativity, right? It's the ruler of Aries, so it was very charged. And once it enters Taurus, it's like, okay, that spark of creativity that was started in Aries, now you need to be resilient, you need to be patient, and you need to move through it very slowly. But that's not the nature of Mars. Mars likes to charge. So Mars feels very uncomfortable in Taurus. And Taurus doesn't want to change its course because it took so long to start moving. It's like a big rock being rolled out of a mountain. It takes a long time for it to start rolling, but once it gains momentum, it won't change its course. It will just go down, passing on top of everything. But Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius is about the new. Aquarius is also a very stubborn sign. It's also a very stubborn zodiac, but it's stubborn because it thinks that, okay, things have been done in these other ways for too long. Now it's time for society to gain a new perspective. Now it's time for us to do things in a new way, my new way, this Uranian way. Okay, so it's also set in its ways, just that it's a new way. It's a new way of seeing life. It's a new way of dealing with society, of dealing with the world. So we have Mars and the two outer planets. Sorry, they are not social planets actually, but we have Mars squaring them in these fixed signs that don't want to compromise. And the nature of squares is already this tension, this constant pull in different directions that just they don't want to do things in the other side of the square. And we have that in the most stubborn signs. So yeah, we are all feeling frustrated in this first half of the month. There is a general feeling of frustration coming from everywhere for everybody. But for each one of us, it's going to happen in a different house. And as I said, I have your chart here with your placements for Sagittarius. So I see here that Mars in Taurus is happening in your 6th house, which is the house of the routine, of daily work, of the mundane, of the details, small things, things that we do with detail. And Saturn and Jupiter, they are expanding, they are restructuring your 3rd house, which is the house in which we communicate with our immediate environment. That's the house where we start thinking, organizing your thoughts or ideas. That's the house in which we communicate with our neighbors, with our siblings. So it's that first outside of ourselves contact. So Saturn and Jupiter in there are telling you, you need to expand, you need to change, you need to restructure the way in which you think, communicate. You need to bring creativity to your life because this is a house of creativity. That's where we start becoming creative. Gemini wants to have their hands on a bit of everything. And Saturn and Jupiter, they want you to explore all the possibilities, to explore a bit of everything. But Mars in Taurus in the 6th house wants to connect and pay attention to the details. This is a house of Virgo. So this is the house in which we choose one thing and we say, I'm going to specialize, I'm going to master this one thing. And I'm going to do it with attention to the details. But Jupiter and Saturn are asking you to open your mind, to expand your mind, which is something that you know very well how to do because you are Sagittarius, it's the opposite sign of Gemini. But there is this tension. Your energy, because Mars is our energy, is where we place our efforts and how we go after the things we want. You have Mars in your 6th house, so you want to master that one thing. You want to do something very well done, right? You want to do something with a lot of perfectionism because Virgo is a sign of perfectionism. I want to master this one skill, and you are placing all your energy in there. And Jupiter and Saturn in your 3rd house is saying, but you need to try different things. It's through trial and error of multiple things that you find out what it is that really calls to your soul. And I see some resistance in that here because we open your reading with the Queen of Cups. So you're showing up here as the Queen of Cups. And this is a very contemplative energy. But I always think of the Rider-Waite, of the image of the Rider-Waite, in which the Queen of Cups is sitting with a cup in her hand, but it's closed. It has a closed lid. So it's like, my precious, is that one thing that you're holding dear to you. And that is a card of Scorpio, which is a fixed sign as well. So it's like, this is my precious. This is my thing. And I'm gonna keep it and nurture it. So this Queen of Cups wants to nurture that one thing, that Mars in Virgo, right? That one skill, that one thing that we want to connect with. But right now is the moment to also learn the skillfulness, the creativity, the curiosity of Gemini that Saturn and Jupiter are trying to explore and expand for you. 5 of Swords here. There is so much reluctance and in coming out of our own ways. There is a stubbornness here of wanting to win at all costs. And I don't think that this is winning over other people. I think this is really winning over yourself. There's a lot of perfectionism going on here. And with the 5 of Swords here, what I see is, watch if you're not having a lot of negative self-talk at the moment. Because in this card, we see this man winning over this army, holding their swords and just looking at them with this bossy, a bit arrogant way. But the message that I'm getting here is almost as if you are looking at yourself like that. That Mars in the 6th house, you know, that Virgo energy that is being brought up to that Mars in the 6th house. Watch out if you're not talking low of yourself, if you're not judging yourself, that you are not good enough. Are you looking at yourself with this judgment and arrogance here? There needs to be this patience. With the Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius in your 3rd house, you need to allow yourself room to trial and error, to explore different things. It's okay to explore multiple opportunities right now, multiple outcomes, and fail. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail in them. I know that you want to perfect something right now, but if you keep fighting that energy, it's gonna keep you stuck, because that's the nature of the square. If we fight it, it keeps us stuck. We need to learn how to flow with it so that the square becomes a trine, and then it's very free-flowing. And Mars will eventually make its way into Gemini, and then it will be trining those planets. So that moment will come. But it's very important right now to allow yourself the space, the room to make mistakes. Try different things, expand your curiosity, and make mistakes. Because with the death here, this is part of your transformation. Sagittarius is the sign of expansion, right? It is ruled by Jupiter. And we are talking about Jupiter here. Sagittarius wants to expand everything. But sometimes we need to transform our own ways. And it's very important here to be humble with yourself, to have patience with yourself. And allow yourself to make mistakes, because it's through mistakes that we transform, right? Death. It's through mistakes. So let's get some oracle cards just to close off your reading here. Beautiful. Soulmates. And I don't know if you got this card in the January reading. One of the zodiacs got this card, and I have a feeling that it was you, but I'm not sure. But the feeling that I get with the soulmates is you coming home to yourself. I feel that with most zodiacs this month. I feel this feeling of coming home to yourself, reuniting with yourself, coming into a more integrated form, right? With that 5 of Swords that I said here, to pay attention to when you are having negative self-talk to yourself. So I see the soulmates as you nurturing your own self, you treating your own self with more patience, with more kindness, gentleness, with more tolerance. I think that this is a month in which we are all connecting more with ourselves. It's not about the outside. It's not about connecting so much with other people. It's about connecting with our own selves. Yes. Restore and replenish. Self-care. I talked about it with another zodiac as well. But self-care this month is going to be very important. And allowing yourself, I think I had a very similar talk. I think it was with Gemini actually. So you're opposite sign. So that's quite interesting that the axis is going through this, which makes a lot of sense because now the nodes are transiting through your signs. But self-care here is very important this month. It's that moment in which you connect with yourself and you tell yourself, right, it's all okay. I'm going to take care of you. It's a moment of taking care of your own self. Nurturing it, being there for you, showing up for yourself, being patient with yourself. And for you, this is happening in the mind, right? So how much you ask from yourself? If you're asking too much from yourself. In what ways are you being aggressive with you? Cat spirit, claim your independence. And actually, what I like about the cat spirit here, what is coming to my mind, is not so much of the independence of the cat, but you know, when you see the cat doing things just because they want to. So I'm seeing that image of a cat on top of a table, just throwing something on the floor, you know, just saying like, yeah, blah. It's that boldness to be yourself. Just be yourself completely. with integrity, with authenticity. And this is part of that third house, you know, of not asking so much about yourself, allowing yourself to make mistakes. You don't need to say sorry for who you are. You don't need to be guilty for who you are. It's completely okay to just be yourself. And I think I said this to you in December, that there was a feeling of guilt in being who you are. Allow yourself to be who you are without apologizing. And without apologizing to yourself, especially. So Sagittarius, that's all I have for you, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.